I start synchronizing with the image. I start working with with changes, sometimes very subtle, sometimes very sudden, all to give a more dramatic feeling. Once everything is approved, then at that point I move to the studio, to the real studio. I have a producer that his name is Camilo Freudeval. He has produced almost everything that I have written in the last 6 or 7 years. He has a great studio here in Mexico City. And then we go to the studio, we call the musicians, and then we start the real process of producing. And there is also nice, I think, when the director gets involved. And yeah, at the end we just, let's say, replace all those MIDI instruments with the real sound of the real instruments.
Great. Now, you said Carlos was very involved. Obviously, decided on what the tenor of the soundtrack would be and the music. Did any of the actors get involved with that process? I know that Gail Bernal Garcia sang a song on the soundtrack, right? The "I Want You to Want Me" song.
Yeah.
Right? So,
yeah.
Did he or anyone else did any of the other actors get involved with any decisions regarding sound or music?
Not regarding the music, not at all. I did have the chance to meet several of the actors of the movie. Not Gael, because unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but he couldn't be at the premiere and all the process of interviews and everything, because at that time he was living in Spain and his wife was giving birth, so he couldn't attend the premiere of the film. But I did have a chance to talk a little bit in all these interviews and, let's say, the media tour with Diego Luna, with Guillermo Francella, the one that makes the character of the Argentinian man, the football promoter. I had the chance to work with Martin Hernandez, with the sound designer, who is, I would dare to say, internationally one of the main sound designers. He's fantastic. And I also had the chance to have, actually with him we became good friends with Eugenio Caballero, who is the art designer. He was winner of the Oscar for Pan's Labyrinth. But it was more in a personal way than in a work way. The only two persons that I actually worked with was Carlos and Alex Rodriguez, who was the editor.
Yeah, and Alfonso was also, was he involved also with this? Alonso, or the brother of Carlos?
Alfonso Cuarón. Yeah, well, he and the producers, who for me is like the dream team of producers, because he's Alejandro González Iñárritu, who of course is very known for Babel and for Amores Perros. Alfonso Cuarón, who is also great, the maker of Y Tu Mamá También and the maker of Children of Men, and Guillermo del Toro, who is the author of movies like Kronos or Pan's Labyrinth. They were not involved with me. I do know that Carlos was sending them all the time my material, but none of them lives in Mexico City. And at that time, I was also not living in Mexico City, I was living in Spain, but I came here for 3 months to do this score. But as we were each one living in a different city, we only had some email contact, and I know that Carlos was mostly speaking with them about the music, and fortunately I know that at the end they were quite happy with it. So the only one I had contact with was Alfonso, but was actually with a beer on the party of the premiere, so that was my only contact I had, the only contact I had with him.
So do you have projects lined up with them at all? I mean, for the future, what are your next, do you have another film lined up to score?
Yeah, well, I just finished a new score. That was, well, actually, not even 2 weeks ago, I finished the score for a Mexican film by a director called Eduardo Rossoff. The movie is called Sangre de Familia. That would be in English, yeah, like Blood of the Family, something like that.
Yeah, I read about that film. What is it?
It's a freaky film, really, really freaky film. I really loved it.
Oh, good freaky.
Yeah, it's good freaky, yeah, good freaky. And with Alfonso and this gang, let's say the Cha-Cha-Cha production gang, I know that Carlos and we became very good friends during all this process. And I know that Carlos wants me to make his new movie, but he hasn't started yet.
Oh, great.
And at this point, I'm about to start also a new film, which is, well, this is a very known story for all Spanish speakers, which is called Marcelino Pan y Vino. It's a very old story, actually, from the 19th century. Well, how can I translate it? It would be Marcelino is a name, Marcelino, bread and wine. And it's a very beautiful story. All the kids in the Spanish-speaking countries, we grew up with that book because it's an obligatory book when you're in the primary school. And the last time that this movie was taken, sorry, that this book was taken to a film was in 1938. And now they are doing a remake here in Mexico. My brother is a very known film producer here in Mexico, so he's producing it.